Hey everyone, off the Mike Sports Network. We're previewing the wild card round. I guess they're not calling it the super wild card round anymore, but it's the wild card round of the playoffs. Big weekend of football here, obviously with the CFP, and now you've got Saturday and Sunday and Monday going to be dominated by the NFL. First game, predictably, Chargers Texans. Texans first, the 1:30 Saturday first playoff game. Literally every year that the Texans have made the playoffs, they've always had the first playoff game. It's amazing how this is like a tradition. So it's the Chargers on the road facing the Texans. Jim Harbaugh, an amazing job getting 11 wins in his first year in Los Angeles. Chargers favored on the road by 3. Texans have been really inconsistent. It's kind of been a little bit of a regression year for CJ Stroud. He's lost some weapons. Stephon Diggs is out for the year. Tank Dell's out for the year. Um, Joe Mixon's had a really nice season coming in as the top running back. But I like the Chargers in this game. I mean, I'm looking at Justin Herbert's number. You guys realize Justin Herbert has 3 interceptions all year. Yes, like he threw for under 4,000 yards, and it was a little bit more of a managed offense. But Justin Herbert's kind of been unleashed the last couple of weeks for the Chargers. I would expect the Chargers to win on the road here against the Texans, and it's going to be a one and done season for the Texans this year. This is not the same team that beat my Cleveland Browns in this spot a year ago. Um, something I don't know if it's mechanically or something has not gone right for CJ Stroud this year. So I think the Texans are one and done. Steelers facing the Ravens in the Prime Video. Yes, we got a Prime Video. Yeah, last year we had a Peacock streaming only game. But we've got a Prime Video game between the Steelers and the Ravens. Steelers have been scuffling down the stretch of the season. They had a chance to potentially, be hosting a playoff game. They fall all the way down to the 6th spot in the AFC. The Ravens here are favored by 9.5. 9.5 points. Lamar Jackson looks close to the MVP. He's only got 4 interceptions this year, 41 touchdowns. Derrick Henry ran for almost 2,000 yards. The Ravens are going to win this game. It's just a matter of if the Steelers can maybe make this competitive, like an old school Steelers Ravens Donnybrook brouhaha game. But the last time these two teams played, the Ravens scored a ton of points. The Steelers weren't able to keep up with them. Russell Wilson couldn't hold onto the ball. I think it's going to be another one and done playoff season and what looked like a promising season and kind of an overachieving year for the Steelers is going to once again end in disappointment. They haven't won a playoff game in close to a decade. I talked to, and you guys know my buddy Danny Udolph, who's a part of the Mad Sports Show here on the Off the Mike Sports Network. Like, this is the problem with Mike Tomlin. He can overachieve, but when it comes time to win the games that actually matter, he hasn't won in the playoffs in a really long time, and they scuffled down the stretch. This is the reverse of what happened last year, where they won to get their way in and lost. But this is not going to end pretty. I think the Ravens are going to win this pretty comfortably and advance to the next round. Broncos getting in. For all of you Bengals fans who are bitter and saying the Chiefs are scared, win your games, and you're in this spot facing Buffalo. The Bengals, I have no sympathy for you. It's a big failure. Good for the Broncos, man. Like, this is a good team. They run the ball. They play really good defense. This is going to be a challenge. I mean, Vegas is telling you that Buffalo is going to win this going away. They're favored by 8.5. I think this is going to be a tough game for the Bills. And Josh Allen's going to have to make some plays, but I do think Buffalo will win this game in advance. This is a different Bills team from previous years. They usually would come up short in these spots. But Denver's going to give him a test. Sean Payton's a really good coach. I may not like him as a person. Guy can coach. Bo Nix has had an awesome season. 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in a rookie season for a guy who was selected 12th overall. And I think by my math, I think he was the 4th or 5th quarterback taken in this past draft. So, but yeah, I will take Buffalo to win this game. They're probably them and the Ravens are probably the most dangerous teams to Kansas City in the AFC. So all the first 3 games of this round are going to be played are the AFC games. So then we get to the NFC playoffs, Packers and Eagles. How about this? This was one of the first games of the year in Brazil, and the Eagles won that game. A lot of questions around both quarterbacks in this game. It sounds like Jalen Hurts is going to be healthy. Jordan Love got hurt towards the back half of the year. The Packers are a dangerous team, but the Eagles are scary. The Eagles have not lost very many games since the 2-2 start to the season and going into the bye. So I think the Eagles will win this game. They're favored only by 4.5 at home. I do have questions about Nick Sirianni versus Matt LaFleur. I would take LaFleur in the coaching advantage here, but I side with the Eagles in this one. I think the Eagles will advance to the next round in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And then a lot of people were taken aback when Commanders Bucks was the NBC Sunday night game, the 8 p.m. Eastern kick. Bucks at 10-7 taking on the 12-5 Commanders. Tampa Bay just getting in at the end of the year with a heroic win. Mike Evans gets his 1,000 yards receiving. Jaden Daniels, obviously the great story, rookie season for Washington. But I got to tell you, man, my guy Baker Mayfield, and Browns fans can be bitter. Look, it wasn't working out. Okay, let's end this. They moved off of him. It was bad timing. Then they had to make a decision, and they made the decision to move off him. They just picked the wrong guy. But my guy Baker Mayfield, yeah, he's thrown 16 interceptions this year, 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns. He's been awesome this year. He's been freaking awesome this year. And I think Baker Mayfield, who made some plays last year in the playoffs and has caused trouble in a lot of the NFC, I think the Bucs are a pretty dangerous team that I would not want to see if I were, the Lions later on, because they've already beaten the Lions this year. So, I'm taking the Bucs at home to beat the Commanders. That being said, whoever gets out of this game is going to be a mighty scary team for the Eagles or the Lions, one of these top teams in the NFC, because I think the Commanders really playing with house money. Jaden Daniels has instilled belief. Dan Quinn knows what he's doing. He's taken a team to a Super Bowl. So Washington's an interesting team, but I would take Tampa in this game, and I'd be a little bit worried because I think under this scenario, the way things would work out, I think Tampa would go and face Philadelphia in the next round. So because they do reseed in the NFL playoffs. And then the Monday night game, a rematch of the Thursday night game from earlier in the year where there was a controversial flag or missed flag on Sam Darnold. The Vikings, a 14-win team going on the road to play the Rams. There is some question as to whether or not this will be played in LA. Some contingency plans have been revealed. By the way, anybody involved in the LA fire, the serious fires that have been going on throughout Southern California. If you're affected by it, hope you're doing okay. Hope you're safe. I know personally it's scary. I live out here in LA, so. But anyway, in regards to this game, it could be moved to State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, which would be interesting. I don't really even think where they play is that much of a difference. Because I think this is going to be a heavy Vikings contingent that's going to make it out for this game against the Rams. I like the Rams a lot, but they've been kind of scuffling offensively down the stretch of the season. They get in, and they win the NFC West. Really a nice, really shining example of how great a quarterback Matthew Stafford is and how great of a coach Sean McVay is. But, man, I just love what Kevin O'Connell's done with this Vikings team. Brian Flores' defense, they're going to be motivated. They had a really bad, weekend against in a spot where they could have gotten the number 1 seed. I'll take the Vikings on the road to beat the Rams wherever they're playing this, in L.A., Glendale, wherever they play it. So that's my review and my picks for the first round of the NFL playoffs, the wild card round. With a lot more coming up throughout the NFL playoffs. Thanks for watching OT Mike Sports and Off the Mic 28 on Twitter. I will talk to you guys soon.